Hello, and welcome to another edition of MAIN-iac Science Lab. I'm Mr. Andy, resident youth services librarian at the St. Johns County Public Library System here in St. Augustine, Florida, and we like to explore STEM with MAIN-iac Science Lab. Science, technology, engineering, mathematics, and fun. And we always like to follow up our little programs with an experiment that you can try at home, usually using household materials whenever possible or easily obtained materials, because we want everybody to have fun with science. Now, today's program is about clouds, those puffy white things flying around the sky. We always know they're there, but do you ever really think about them? What makes them clouds? And what do they do? Well, we know they rain, but sometimes they don't. Why is that? Well, just to give you a quick list of our ingredients for our scientific project or experiment, if you'd like to join us with that today and you don't have them already, here's what you're going to need. You're going to need a glass of water, about 2/3 of the way full. Clear, preferred. It's better. You're going to need some shaving cream. So ask mom or dad or somebody you know who shaves whether you can borrow some of their shaving cream. You don't need a whole lot, just a little bit. You're also gonna want some food coloring. And I like to use blue because we're dealing with water today, since clouds are primarily water. So blue works for me, but you can use any color you like. You want it to be yellow, orange, purple, green, whatever. Your experiment, you do it your way. Me, I'm choosing blue. So let's go ahead and get right into it. Where is my stuff? There we go. MAIN-iac Science Lab explores clouds. So I'll ask the question, what is a cloud? Well, they're up there. They're floating in the sky, but what are they really? In the simplest terms, clouds are condensed water vapor. There's so much more than that. Did you know they come in all sorts of shapes and sizes? Of course you do. You look up in the sky and you can see them, but they're all part of the water cycle within our Earth's atmosphere. Now, what does that mean? What is the water cycle? Well, I came up with this cool little infographic to help you understand the water cycle of the planet. So we have the sun, this big shiny guy up here. He shines down and warms everything up. He warms up the water on the Earth's surface, which makes it evaporate, and it floats up into the air where it condenses and collects into, you guessed it, clouds. And when those clouds get a little too heavy, that water that is collected in them can come back down to the Earth as rain. Now, it doesn't always. Sometimes that water can just evaporate, float up even higher, or dissipate, or whatever. But if there's enough moisture, it gets a little heavy, and it comes back down as rain. So when the water vapor rises into the air, what it does is it clings to particles like salt or dust or other things floating around in the air. And the water condenses onto those particles and forms what are called droplets. Collections of those droplets are clouds. When the water droplets get too heavy, too much water in one droplet, they start to fall back down to the Earth as rain. Well, not all clouds mean rain, you know. You can have cloudy days every single day, which means condensed water is up there waiting for its chance to fall back down. But you can go weeks, days, and even months on end without any rain at all. And other times, it'll rain every single day. So there's different types of clouds that are floating around up there. And sometimes those clouds take on interesting shapes. What do you see when you look at this cloud? I see a cute little dog bouncing across the field with his ears flapping in the breeze, and he's got a big funny nose. You might see something completely different. I asked 3 different people. I got 3 different answers. What do you see? Now this one This one's pretty easy. I see a heart flying in the sky. How sweet is that? But our clouds actually do have different types of names for the different types of clouds. And there are many of them, but we're only going to talk about the basic three today. First, we have cumulus clouds, or the puffy little clouds. These are my favorites. They're small, they're puffy, they float around looking like balls of cotton, and they're just so nice to look at. There's also the stratus clouds, which are the flat, low, hazy clouds. And the cirrus clouds. These are actually kind of cool too. They're the thin, wispy ones that kind of streak across the sky. Look pretty cool. But you know, clouds can make rain. They can also make snow. They can also make hail. There's different things involved with those, temperature, etc. But they don't always have to do that. Sometimes they just float around looking pretty. Isn't that a beautiful sky? That was a pretty day when I took that picture. So clouds do more than just hang around waiting to drop water on us. They kind of insulate the planet Earth as well. They can reflect the sunlight, which kind of cools the surface of the Earth. They can also trap the heat on the Earth, which kind of helps balance our atmosphere as well. Pretty cool, huh? Well, we know living here in Florida that there's a big difference between a cloudy day and a not cloudy day, especially in the summertime. A not cloudy day in the summertime is a really hot, hot day. The sun is just beaming on us. But when the clouds roll in, it definitely cools down quite a bit, and we can feel it almost immediately. Especially if it's a hot, clear day, and then a cloud rolls in during that day, you can feel the temperature drop. And then when the clouds move along and they go away and the sun comes back out, oh boy, it gets hot all over again. It's definitely something we experience here in Florida. Maybe if you're watching this from somewhere else, do you have a similar feeling when the clouds go in and out of the sunlight? Yeah, you can tell there's definitely a big change. So they're kind of a nice insulator for our planet. So clouds actually are pretty helpful in quite a few ways. So there's one other type of cloud I'd like to talk to you about before we get to our experiment. So if you ever see a cloud in the sky that's piled really tall, kind of like a weird castle, chances are there's a storm coming. Check this guy out. Wind, rain, lightning, and thunder can come from these clouds. These are called cumulonimbus clouds, also known as thunderheads. If you see one of these headed your way, you might want to consider taking shelter somewhere because there's definitely a storm a-brewing. And lightning is really cool to watch, but it's also really dangerous. So be careful. And if you see lightning in your area, definitely don't hang out in the water. This one was taken over the ocean on the beach. And once the lightning starts rolling in, time to get out of that water, because water is a great conductor of electricity. You don't want to be anywhere near it when that's going on. Not at all. So that's our little talk about clouds. What do you say we jump in and do our experiment? Let's see how it goes. So you know, with science, it can be unpredictable sometimes. I've done this experiment a couple of times. Sometimes it works really well. Sometimes not so much. Usually because of small changes in the control of what we're doing. So what I have here is my glass of water poured from my tap. Simple water, doesn't have to be anything special. Put that down. And then you're going to take that shaving cream. And you're just going to pour a little bit of shaving cream on top of your water, like so. You don't need a lot. You need a little more than that. My shaving cream came out all stringy, so I needed to kind of come together a little bit. There we go. So what kind of cloud do you think this would be? Could be a cumulonimbus. But I'm thinking it's more like a cumulus cloud, the little puffy one. That's what I like. So what we've done here with the shaving cream is we put a cloud on top of our atmosphere. We'll pretend the water is the Earth's atmosphere, and the shaving cream is a cloud floating in the sky. So to mimic what happens when it rains, do you remember what I told you about the water cycle? Water evaporates, goes up into the sky. The water connects with salt, dust, or other particles in the air, forming droplets. The droplets condense into groups called clouds. And as those water droplets continue to grow in size, they get too heavy and they fall back to Earth. So we have our cloud, and we're going to add more moisture to our cloud to see if we can get those droplets heavy enough to rain inside of our glass. Now for my food coloring, I've chosen the color blue because blue makes me think of water, and we're going to make rain. So we're going to have blue rain in my glass. Now, if you want to use a different color, that's fine. You can make it rain any color you like. It's your experiment. So have fun with it and see what you can do. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our cloud in our glass, and we're going to add slowly food coloring to the cloud and see how much we can add before it becomes too dense, heavy with moisture into your glass. Now the key here is not to use too much shaving cream. I did that before, and it took a whole lot of food coloring to make it rain inside the glass. So I used a little bit less this time, and we're going to see what's going to happen. You want to add your drops slowly and methodically. This is science. And try to keep track of how many you've added. I have had a hard time counting while doing my science experiments. So I'm going to try to make notes so I don't forget. So here we go. I'm going to start with one drop, and I'm going to drop it right there. One big blue drop, and I'm going to mark it on my scientific notebook journal that I made one drop. So what's going to happen is it's going to go into the shaving cream, kind of spread around. So as you add your drops, you want to add them evenly across your cloud. If you drop them all into the same spot, they could just kind of burrow right through the cloud, ruining the experiment. So you want to definitely spread them around a little bit and see how it goes. So, and take your time too, because it takes a little while for it to slowly move through there. That's why I'm talking so much in between each drop. So let's try drop number 2. Put it over here. That's drop number 2. Mark off on my scientific journal that I've made 2 drops. So what's going to happen is as it does start to fill up the shaving cream and get too heavy, it's going to come out the bottom, and it's going to streak through the glass, kind of like a rainstorm. How cool is that? You know? So it's going to look like a rainstorm inside your glass. Now, if you use blue, it'll be a blue rainstorm. If you use red, it'll be a red rainstorm. What color are you using today? So let's add a 3rd drop of water, of food coloring. Here it goes. I'm marking down 3 in my scientific journal. Still no rain yet. You see anything coming through there? Nope. This is a pretty dense cloud I've got going on here. Let's do another drop. That's 4. And now your dropper that you're using at home may add more or less moisture with each drop too. So keep that in mind when doing your research. So that's 4. Let's go ahead and add a 5th one. Marking in my journal. Still no rain. Oh, I see it moving through the cloud some though. All right. Remember what I said, don't drop it all in one place, because then it'll burrow right through like a tunnel. I want it to kind of evenly disperse. So that was drop number 6. Still no precipitation. Sometimes science takes a lot of patience. Let's go for drop number 7. What do you say? Drop number 7. Mark it off my list here. Still clear skies. I got to admit, I'm getting a little impatient. How about you? Is your glass raining yet? Maybe you used less shaving cream than I did. Maybe you used more. Remember, it's not an ice cream sundae we're making here. Less is more. You don't want to have a huge pile. It'll take a lot of food coloring to get through that. So far so good. Let's go for drop number 8. Mark it off in my journal. Not raining yet. Now, another thing to consider too is the type of shaving cream that you use, because mine is the thick and rich kind, which means it's going to hold moisture a lot better. If you have regular shaving cream, it'll probably come through a lot faster. So, more things to consider when working out the details of your experiment. Let's go for drop number 9. Yeah, the last time I did this, I used regular shaving cream. And I think I got to like 6 drops, and it was raining like crazy inside my glass. This is the thick and rich kind. So I think it's going to hold out a little bit longer. Let's try drop number 10. Boy, howdy. This is a strong cloud. Drop number 11. Starting to look like a thunderhead, isn't it? It's getting all dark in color up on top. This is drop number 12. Tension is getting to me. Still clear skies. Let's do drop number 13. Is 13 the lucky number? Let's find out. No. Still no precipitation yet. Drop number 14. So like I said, the different types of shaving cream will definitely speed up or slow down the process. The amount of shaving cream will definitely speed up or slow down the process. If it's really thick, it's going to take a long time. If it's super thin, it'll go pretty quickly. Where were we at? We were at 14. Let's do drop number 15. Man, this is some good shaving cream. Still nothing breaking through. Let's go for drop number 16. I'm impressed. Drop number 17. Wow, no sign of rain whatsoever. Drop number 18. Ooh, I can see it starting to work its way through. See if I can spin it so you can see it. See how it's kind of filling up the cloud? That would be clear if it was actual rain, but since we're using food coloring, you can see how it's going through very slowly. That's drop number 19. Drop number 20. Still holding strong. Something tells me when this thing finally comes through, it's going to rain like crazy. Drop number 21. All right, 22. I knew this was going to take so long. 23. 24. There we go. It's raining. Can you see it? It's finally raining. It took 24 drops to make it rain inside the glass. And there comes the storm. Look at that go. It's just streaking through the sky. So this particular cloud that we made took 24 drops of food coloring before precipitation began. How many drops did yours take? If you used regular shaving cream, probably came out a lot faster. Mine was thick and creamy, so it held tight for as long as it could. But even then, it couldn't hold on forever. It eventually broke free and made it rain inside my glass. Pretty cool experiment, huh? A lot of fun. I like how it just kind of streaks through the water like a swirly storm happening. So that's how that goes. And that's how a cloud works. The water evaporates, floats into the air, connects with dust and salt in the air, forming water droplets. More moisture added, the water droplets get heavier, they collect together into clouds. When the moisture gets too much, gets too heavy, gravity does its thing, brings it back down to earth, causing rain. And that's what clouds do. When they float around, they're just hanging around, waiting for a chance to rain on you. But sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. And sometimes you're not so sure, sometimes you absolutely know when it's going to rain just by looking at the cloud. So I hope you enjoyed your experiment. I hope you had some fun today. And I hope to see you again next time on MAIN-iac Science Lab. For the St. Johns County Public Library System here in St. Augustine, Florida, I am Mr. Andy, and I say good day to you all. Bye.